Hello, my name is Georgianne Ford with the Alpha Center for Divorce Mediation. And today, returning to us, we have one of our attorney mediators, Debbie Schneider. Debbie, welcome back.
Thank you, Georgianne.
And Debbie, your topic today, not something we always think about, is putting together a budget and the value of putting together a budget when you're going through a divorce.
Right, exactly. With our clients at the Alpha Center, for all of our clients, we encourage them to create budgets, right? And we do it fairly early on. I mean, we set the stage for it early on in our mediation program, and we have a budget form that we utilize. We use it as a paper, obviously on paper, and we also supply the same form to our clients as a digital format, so they can use it online. And we encourage them to really do budgets. I mean, it's not mandatory, but people find it a helpful tool. And many of our clients, as the process flows forward, they find it to be very empowering. And it's empowering because it's a real building block for their future life, right? So when two people are starting a divorce, they typically have one residence, and most divorces contemplate that you'll create a second household, right? So how you do that, when you do that, is often a very critical component of a financial settlement. So a budget is an integral part of that, and that's what we support and encourage. So as I said, we give people the form, and we ask them to start with what they're presently spending. So many people know what they spend, but there are many more, frankly, that don't know what they spend. They don't really have a viable budget. I mean, they know money comes in and they know money goes out, but they don't really know what they spend money on. So start with what they're presently spending and they create a budget. And then they move on sort of to the next phase of that. I mean, it's not a separate budget, but it's kind of the next phase of it. And if the marital residence is going to be sold, well, then both people are looking to establish a new residence, right? So what will that look like? If one person is staying in the residence, and they will be maintaining the marital residence as their house, then I would say, well, look toward your budget as it exists now and try to create room for a second household. And if in the third category is for the person who's leaving the marital residence, and they probably, frankly, have the hardest task, which is how do I do this? Where do I want to be, right? And so this is the building block for an entire financial settlement, right? So I'm looking to relocate out of the marital residence. Where do I want to be? Do I want to buy something? Do I want to rent? And the big question is, what can I afford? So this whole process is, again, a building block toward a settlement. I call it a springboard to a settlement.
Is this quick question here? Is this done together where we're each doing our own budget, or is this done?
People do it either way,
Okay.
right? Okay, people do it either way. I mean, sometimes couples do their budgets separately, but for our clientele, many of them are on very good terms with each other, so they can do a budget together. At least initially, they can put their heads together and do that budget for the marital residence, the first phase of the budgeting process together. So they can figure out what they're presently spending. And then that really educates both of them to move on to the next phase of the budgeting process, right? So, and we also encourage our clients to do a children's budget. So they don't each do a children's budget, but the one that's most familiar with the children's expenses. So this is their extracurricular activities, what they require in terms of schooling, tutoring, sports, music, dance, all the extracurricular things that children need as they're growing up. So we encourage them to do that as well. So all this comes together. And the net result for many of my clients is a very positive one, and that is that they're empowered by this. they realize that they do have enough money, that I can move forward with my life. I can afford my life. I can move forward with my life, which is the ultimate goal.
I'm sitting here thinking of the kind of guidance that it has to be such wonderful guidance to get that as part of the program, because I don't hear that from other people.
No, and you don't see it very much in litigation at all, right? I mean, I'm sure there are some very savvy litigators that suggest that their clients create budgets. But as a general rule, it's not something that you're going to see across the board, like in our mediation practice. And that's, again, one of the real benefits to working together in a mediation forum, is that encouragement to create budgets.
And just some of the expenses that you brought up, people are not thinking of this, the extracurricular for the children.
Right.
All of a sudden, you think about that after the fact and you go, oh my gosh, we never even talked about that.
Right.
But you're covering that. I mean, the years of experience. I mean, how many years have you been at Alpha?
I've been there 18 years now.
18 years of
And I
experience.
used to, and prior to my time at Alpha, I did litigation. So I had been on the other side of this as an attorney. But I've seen it many, many, many times, as I said, to be a very useful, empowering step. And I've even had many clients who chose not to do budgets. They decided they didn't want to be bothered, or it was too much trouble. And then we get into the mediations and I'll have people say to me, gee, I wish I'd done that budget because I don't know how much I need to live.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much money I need. I don't know what my expenses are going to be. I haven't even really thought about it. And so that's the benefit of doing it as you proceed through our program.
So I hear you definitely highly recommending creating a budget
I do.
as part of the mediation process.
For anybody who's getting a divorce.
Right. Okay. Debbie, thank you. I just want to say, if anybody has any questions for Debbie about the budgeting, if you have any questions at anything about divorce mediation with the Alpha Center, please give us a call. 1-800-310-9085. And Debbie, thanks for the insights.